today, my guest is Miss Shauna Haley. And I'm going to give a little bio on Shauna. Shauna Haley's life work is to show women how to recognize, trust, nurture, and honor the goddess within. Prism of Transformation is a transformative thought movement and global education enterprise. So she is a highly recognized teacher for over 17 years with many awards. As a personal development customer service expert for over 27 years, Shauna is always striving for excellence and is passionately committed to growth. Transformative thought, business speaker, and coach for over 7 years, she believes and embodies spiritual intuitive alignment, open mind to seek conscious evolution. Wow, providing strategic as well as grounding and supportive tools to create success habits. Integrity to her means delivering what is promised. She has designed a peer leadership training tool, which was adopted by her peers in the education arena. This document was also published in the Empire Beauty School online magazine, Highlights in Education, Spring Summer 2012 edition. Becoming a published author of the books Prism of Poets, Lost and Found Not from Determination but Devastation, as well as The Will to Transform. Honoring the Goddess Within was highlights of her life and career. 2 additional books will be added this year. This Body Houses a Goddess and Woman. You Must Rise. You Are 3 feet from gold. Wow. Young lady, you are just busy as you can be. So first, for our audience, please tell us, what is transformative thought movement? What is that?
Transformative thought movement is based on the idea that we are no longer living in a society that is grounded or should be formed. Our minds, our transformation should not be formed by antiquated rules. We are living in an evolved environment, and God is bringing to light many different avenues and different ways of us becoming more. There's, Jesus said, greater is he that is in me. And if there's greatness within me, then I must look within myself for that transformation instead of looking outside for approval or for growth, which is necessary sometimes. But the first place we must look what is within, because the kingdom of God is within us. So the place that we always want to start when it comes to transformative thought movement or moving, and the thought movement means I'm not sitting down. Faith requires work. So that means that once my mind is transformed, I renew my mind, I see life in a way that God wants me to see it, and harness my purpose, then the next thing for me to do is to get up and move with faith in mind.
So you talked about antiquated ideas, right? So if I'm coming to you and I say, okay, I want to transform my mind, I want to transform my thought, where do I begin? And what do I do with things that have been embedded in me, that I've been nurtured in for all of my life?
Well, the things that have been embedded in us are called paradigms. And paradigms are belief systems that we are using that are no longer serving us in the way that we need to grow in life right now. And the best way to do that, first of all, most of us are grounded in the Bible. I believe that all of us, whether we're Christians or Buddhists or Muslim, all of us have one thing in common. All of life seeks to be happy. All of life seeks to be free. All of life want to feel connected, love, and have a sense of clarity. So where in that point, where in that moment do I need to go within myself? And all my teaching is about going within yourself. I'm here as a guide. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to help you to go within yourself, because you have to trust who you are. You can't give what you don't have. So you have to go within. And the best example I can give, because, I have a Christian background, the best example I can give is that when Jesus, if you notice in all the readings with Jesus, Jesus never went outside of himself and asked, what do you think I should do? He always took time away from the crowd and went and communed with his Father. And that's where he got his direction from. So at the same time, there are people outside of us that may say, do this or do that. But at the end of the day, no one is responsible for our happiness. We have to take the time to go in silence, go in prayer, go in the closet, so to speak, and commune with God, our spirit. We have a spirit within us that was given to us to guide us. So, and then we come out and we can rejoice because we know we have clarity of where we're supposed to be doing what our purpose is, and that's how I feel about it.
So I very much believe in having that sort of secret place with God, that God is where you go to first. But I also understand in working with women and how there's so much brokenness in this world, and oftentimes that brokenness, like I talked about, came from something that was planted early on. And so, what advice do we have for folks who don't trust themselves to sit with themselves because they don't trust what will come out of themselves?
Right.
Um, and when they have so much brokenness that they can't even really, some people can't even really be still long enough. And I've heard people say to me, I don't hear God. What am I listening for? What advice would we have?
Well, God is a friend. And if a friend call you on the phone and you know that person's voice, they say hello, they don't necessarily have to say their name. You know exactly who they are.
That's good. I
Hi,
like that.
Valerie. You know exactly who's talking to you on the phone. But if you don't take that time to spend time with God, if you don't take that time to get to know that voice and to get to know that person, then anybody that comes on the phone could be that person. But when we have to take time in our every day, every single day, I mean, we get up every morning and we bathe. Why don't we get up every morning and commune with God, the source of our resources? We have to take that time to get to know that person. So when that voice, Jesus said, they hear my voice, right? Whole, I mean, I don't know the scriptures. I can't think of them right now. But he said, my sheep
my sheep
hear my voice, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Well, how did the sheep know the voice? Because they've been trained to listen to it. And as individuals, as women, to speak frankly, as women, we are so busy doing so many things because, again, we don't want to get to know who we are. And then we want to blame other people for what we're not achieving in our life. But no one is responsible for our happiness. We always get to choose. We always get to choose. And we can choose what we give our attention to, because where attention goes, energy flows.
Ooh, I like that. Say that again.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Okay.
So whatever I'm giving my attention to, whatever I'm giving my time to, that's what's going to come out of it, because thoughts become things. Whatever I think of, then my body follows. My body does what my mind tells me to do.
I like it.
And we must come from a place in our heart. Our heart is our guidance system. Our heart is where love resides. And love, let love be our anchor. Let love be our sword. Let love be our champion. We never lose with love as our dominant current and undertone. We must choose love, because love gives freely and receives freely. Love don't just give things away, but it's open to receiving what has been given.
I like it. We are having some good conversation here, folks. Good morning, Miss Donna Britt. Good morning, and have a blessed morning. I love Miss Donna Britt. She's trained to listen. She said trained to listen to God. Y'all come and join our conversation. You can call us at 804-788-0990. That's 804-788-0990, or toll free at 1-877 953-3990, 877-953-3990. So you know what? I like where we're going right now. I really like that, because you said a lot of things. You talked about my sheep hear my voice, that intuitive piece that we have, and how we as women don't want to look inside. Now, help me, Holy Ghost, right now. Because we as women are so busy plugged into, or having everything plugged into us. So we as women, especially black women, let's keep it real, we are nurturing our children, our parents, our spouses, our partners, our businesses, our jobs, the dog, the cat, everything but ourselves. Because oftentimes we feel like, well, where am I going to find time for me? And that's been a lesson that I'm just now learning, because there's that sense that I'm supposed to do this. That's what I'm supposed to do. My mama did it. That's what I'm supposed to do. How do we then change, sort of redirect? It's difficult. It's hard, Shauna.
I agree. I agree. But to redirect anything takes practice. And it takes an awareness that I need to do this. And the first step, we know that we're making progress. Sometimes we do it and we don't even realize. We're just going through the motions. But then when you have a realization that I need to take time for myself, because at some point I'm going to be burned out. And truth be told, sometimes we're giving and we're giving and we're giving and we're resentfully giving because we're not getting filled ourselves. So at what point do you get to the point where you say, well, okay, I need to give, but I need to sit back and receive as well. And there are people in this world that are called takers. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not judging. But if you're going to give me, I'm going to take it if that's my personality.
Yes.
So I have to take responsibility again to say, well, I will give. And that doesn't mean I have to get back from you. I will give freely, but I am open to receive what I need. And I need to prioritize. I came into this world, my grandfather used to say, when I came into this world, there was work here. And when I leave this world, work will be here. So some things I need to prioritize. And one of those things is I need to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of anybody else. And I want to do what I do lovingly. I want to give from a space of peace and love. But if I'm going, then after a while I'm exhausted. And you know what happens when we get exhausted. We halfway do things. We do it resentfully. I'm going to do this, but I don't really want to.
So, I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there because that was something that was a growth experience for me. And maybe someone in the audience can relate to. So I've always been a giver. I've been the go-to in my family because that's what my mother did. But there was a time when I was doing it and I was just complaining. I'd be talking to my girlfriend on the phone. I got to do such and such and such. And this one and that, this. And she said, well, why are you doing it? I said, well, because who else is going to do it? So I began to resent it. And she said to me, well, I just don't understand. Boy, I tell you, who appointed you God? Because sometimes there are those of us that do it for that's our accolation. Like, because I'm a giver,
right.
And when I'm giving, I'm feeling something about myself. Now, doing it begrudgingly, not even recognizing that we're doing it begrudgingly, but feeling like we got to have that S on our chest and that J on our chest because it gives something to us. And that's something I think a lot of women don't recognize because we're complaining about it. So why are we doing it? Because who else is going to do it?
Right. And usually, honestly, if we step back, someone else will step in.
Come on.
But like, again, it goes to the accolades. I get recognition for doing this. Oh, Valerie's always doing what's required of her.
Ooh, come on. Step on the toe.
I've been that way myself. I used to be a yes woman. I mean, just people pleaser to the core. And I had to get to the point where I said, like, what am I doing? What am I really doing? It's time for me to change the way I look at things so the things I look like can change. And I had to step back and say, okay, if I'm going to give of myself, I will make a decision what I will give to. And it has to make me feel good. It has to be, to me, everything I do now has to be a win-win. And it doesn't have to be tangible win, but I must feel good. Because feeling good and feeling happy is replenishment. Some people feel like you have to have something tangible to make you feel good and uplifted. Tangible things are good. Don't get me wrong, though. I love me some tangibles. I love gifts. That's one of my gifts. One of my special things. I love gifts. But at the end of the day, tangible things are temporary, and they only make you feel good temporarily. Because as soon as you get that new car, you drive it a couple of weeks, and what happened?
It breaks down.
I'm looking for something else. So those temporary things are the qualities of the heart, the heavenly qualities, the qualities that people can't steal and take. Those are the qualities that I think at this point we need to start developing, because it's an inner quality. It doesn't require somebody outside of myself to make me happy, because I'm happy within me. And whoever come to me will add to what I have. I'm not looking to you to give me, because I'm looking for you just to add to me.
Absolutely.
Because I already have it, and I'm adding to you. And that's another thing I don't believe in: competition. We don't have to compete against each other, because what God has for you is for you. What He has for me is for me. And there's a big world here that's constantly expanding. If we even look at science in a way, the 96% of the universe have not been discovered yet. So there's so much more for us to see, and there's so much for us to get into. And I want to contribute to your life. I'm not here to take anything from you, because I can't. I can't take what is not mine. It may look like it, and some people say she's taking that what's not. If it's yours, she can't take it. If she is your, and women have an issue with that.
Oh yeah.
We're always competing against each other for what? She looked this way, or she's doing this. Go do it. You have a choice.
That's it.
You have a choice. You don't have to look at somebody and begrudge them, and if there's a good quality in them, hey, come in, give a compliment. Say, my sister, you look really good today. You're doing a really good job on that, and see how better it makes you feel. And not only does it make you uplift you, it makes you feel good. You can step up into higher realms of your own self-awareness and move into greater existence.
I think it's really important what you do and what you talk about and what you help guide women to. I think that there is so much difficulty in women because of feeling like we need someone to give us something. We don't even know what that something is. I think that's why we stay in bad relationships. I think that's why we compromise our values. I think that's why we are not showing others how to love us completely, because we don't know how to love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's something that I really pray on all the time. God, I believe I'm called to women. Help me to show women that by being that myself. But I think that's something that I almost want to park on, because I think that's like digging and digging and digging. It's buried so far. I was in a conference where, there must have been close to 100 women there, and it was called Know Your Hue. Talk about how you felt about your hue. And each and every woman in that audience, whether they were big, small, light, dark, felt like they were not good enough. Felt like, oh, I always wanted to be dark skinned. I always wanted to be light skinned. I always wanted to be big. I always wanted to be small. And when you look at them, they were beautiful women, but I'm saying every woman in that audience did not feel worthy. And right there is where we need help. How do we begin to feel worthy? How do we begin? So that there is no competition, so that I can wish my sister well. But if I'm constantly feeling like I'm lacking something, and I don't even understand how to fix that, why I'm in this relationship. What are you fighting over a partner for when there's a whole bunch of people out here? And if you loving yourself enough, then who is for you will be for you, right? That is the issue, Shauna. How do we get that self-love?
I mean, self-love again begins with understanding who you are and the greatness within you. Women are goddesses. That's how I believe all women are. I don't care, just women, period, stamp.
Goddess.
They're beautiful, creative, and fearless goddess. And the only way for us to change the way we're thinking is to practice it. I know I don't like where I am. I know I don't like where I'm doing. So what am I going to do about it? And the point where, one of the things I coach to and speak to is gain clarity on where you are. When you want to go forward, I think sometimes we go too far back to try to figure out why we are where we are. And the thing about it is, think about a GPS. This is a good analogy. A GPS asks you where you are and where you want to go. Why? Because it doesn't matter where you've been.
Come on.
Because, what I found out with my own life, in my own progress, in my own development, is that when I focus on where I want to go, things that I need to work with from here, back here, show up anyway. I don't have to go looking for them. They show up, and when they show up, it's just to let me know that, honey, you did not deal with me. Honey, we need to clear this up. It's not to say, oh my God, pull me back. Some of us use that as an excuse to say, pull me back. And I was one of them. I'm not talking like, I'm above anything, because I'm still working on some stuff. But some of us use it as an excuse to say, oh my God, I'm not supposed to move forward. Oh my God, this is here to stuck me. Instead of saying, okay, how can we work this out together? It's like, a relationship. Your past is a relationship. When it shows up, is to say, how can we resolve this? Not to say, get out my face. It's like a child, children show up in our lives for whatever reason, whether it's our own or other people's children, and they ask us for something. And if we don't give them that attention again, what do? They go away and they find another way to get our attention, whether it's tantrums, whatever it is. And the same thing with our issues from the past. It shows up, and if we continue to press it down and say, I don't have time for you now, whatever you suppress will show itself in another way. And sometimes that's in the form of depression. Sometimes that's in the form of doing a bit, what I will say, addictive habits, eating. Sometimes it will be sex for some people. I mean, you can name it, right?
Yes.
Anything. So when our issues show up, it's for us to say, how can we resolve this issue now? I know you helped me in the past. I know you helped me, balance things out. I know you were a protector for me in the past, because some of our mental attitudes were protection for whatever we were going through in the past. We had to put on those second personalities to protect us. But now, as I begin to move forward to the life that I want to, that is going to make me happy, how can we work this out? And you'll be surprised. As soon as the problem is there, a solution is available if you are available to see it and receive it. It's there. It may be a person may come and tell you something. It may be a book. It may be a song on the radio. But sometimes we're not tuned in. We're so tuned out of ourselves and tuned into the world for what they're going to give us, magnetized to that we can't really accept who we are. And unworthiness is a disease. It's a bad disease in the world right now. Everybody feel unworthy because we're looking outside for validation instead of looking within. And we came into this world with high value. We came into this world validated, approved, appointed, and approved for what we came for. It's just time for us to say, let me figure out what it is that God wants me to do. And He's in me. I don't have to look outside of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to get this book, The Will to Transform. Can everybody see it? By Miss Shauna Haley. And The Prism of Poems by Miss Shauna Haley. Both these books are available. Where are they available, Shauna?
They're on Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Yeah. And The Will to Transform, the Prism of Poems was my darkest hour. It was my point where I wanted to give up on life. I felt like I wasn't worthy. What was my point of living? And then God came to me and says, honey, I have work for you to do. And the Prism of Poems was a healing process for me, getting out of my depression, getting out of that dead state, decay and dying state, and come back to life. And then The Will to Transform is a prayer. How can I move forward now? There are ways, there are specific things that God are guiding me to move forward to. And one of them is specifically to speak to women, because we need to get it together.
Ooh, you better say that. We do. Because if we, who have always been Mother Earth, get it together, we can cure some other stuff.
Yeah.
And you talked about depression. So, you know that mental health and depression is on the rise. And even oftentimes in the African American community, we don't deal with mental health, but a lot of people are talking about it now. And sometimes it's just a matter, like you said, of being in that dark place and not knowing how to move from that dark place. Now, I understand that depression is a valid illness, and that oftentimes you have to seek treatment for that illness. But I also know that some of our depression is about how we feel and sitting in that place of darkness and feeling like we can't get out of that place of darkness. And so I like what you're saying, because it's not that we all go through darkness at some time or another, but it is taking those steps along with treatment, along with, therapy and doing those things. There are some things that we are responsible to do for ourselves.
Yes, I agree. And depression is really, and I think you said it very eloquently, depression is a place where you have given up on life. You are, and not only given up, you are not allowing yourself to see what God is doing in your life. Because a lot of times we spend too much time complaining and whining, and we have so much. You can look around and say, "You God, I thank you for this. God, I thank you for that. God, I thank you for this. God, I thank you for that." And we don't do that. We spend too much time being ungrateful. And we have so much to be grateful for. So it's like, women, again, how can you expect your children to walk, talk, and be strong when you walk around with your head bowed down? It's time for women to step in to what they came here for and to walk in their power. And like you said, we are liberators and curators of soul. Life comes into this world through us. Come on now. Why are you sitting down behind somebody and making excuses? Stop the excuses. Get up.
Absolutely.
Let love be your anchor. Let love be your sword. Let love be your companion. You never lose with love as your constant current and dominant undertone. Love gives and receives freely, and you don't have to worry about the rest of it because God takes care of it.
I thank you so much, Miss Shauna Haley. You have said so much, and you have given us so much to think about and to begin to walk in, because it's not enough to hear it. You have to walk. Faith without works is dead. And I don't care what you believe in, what's your religion. Faith without works, you need to do something, is dead. Please get her book, the Miss Shauna Haley, The Will to Transform and the Prism of Poems. And thank you so much for being with me today. God bless you. Happy Sunday. This is your girl, Sister Talk with Valerie.
And God cannot park a car. God cannot drive a parked car.
Thank you for tuning in to Sister Talk with Valerie. Be sure to join us again every first Sunday of the month, 10 to 10:30 a.m. For more information about Sister Talk with Valerie, contact us at generationalwords.com or call 804-878-8061. And remember, we are straight to the point for our sisters.